Hi there, welcome to part 8 of the Marslander animation tutorial, and today we're going to focus on the landing gear, and if we have some time left we're also going to start with the materials and the decals, and that's a part I'm really looking forward to because then the Marslander really starts coming to life. But first let's get this thing done. I want to rotate it around the lander, but to do that you first have to make sure it's in the center. So we're going to select this object, Shift S, cursor to selected. This object, Shift S, selection to cursor. Then we're going to place it where we want. Maybe a little bit down. Yeah, I think this is okay. Maybe just a little bit back. And we don't have to focus too much on this part because this is going to be covered with what we're going to cover this with. So no worries. Then what I want to do, it's still a curve, so I'm not going to change this anymore, so I'm going to convert it to a mesh. You can do it by the object menu, convert to mesh, or with hard ops Q, convert to mesh. Then I'm going to go to top view, and we could rotate it around this object using an empty and an array, and using the empty to turn it around, just like we did in chapter 2 and 3 of the tutorial, but I'm gonna do it a little bit different now. I'm gonna use hard ops. So first make sure you press 6 3 times, so we're in a 45-degree angle. Then I'm gonna switch to, first select this object and switch to mirror mode with Alt X. Then you get into this menu and you can switch to advanced menu or just a regular menu using the tab key. And in the advanced menu, make sure the transform orientations is set to view. If we now hold shift and click this part and this part, you can see it has mirrored just the way we wanted it to mirror, without any hassle. So this is a really cool trick to mirror around a strange angle. That's that. Then what I want to do is also make sure this piston gets placed in this piece. I'm first going to rotate it 90 degrees, and I'm going to rotate it on the Z-axis as well. And to make it easier on myself, I'm going to set the origin in the middle of this. So Shift S, cursor to selected, switch out of edit mode and set origin to 3D cursor. Now if we do a rotate, it's going to rotate around that point, and if we scale, exactly the same. So I'm going to put it into place, and to make sure it's in the middle, I'm going to do exactly the same what we did before, cursor to selected, Shift S, selection to cursor, just to be sure. And I'm going to place it just around here, maybe a little bit down. Yeah, I think so. And now I'm going to rotate it on the x-axis. And what I want to do is place this piston attached to this curve, this beam. But first let's scale it down. Scale it, and as you can see, it is way too big. So I'm gonna select this one, Q, adjust curve, and I'm gonna scale it down. Something like this. Yeah, now it looks okay. Over here you can see it doesn't really fit. So what I'm going to do is go into edit mode, hit slash to get into local view, and I'm going to select these faces. Slash to get out of local view, and with Alt S I'm going to scale it just a little bit, yeah, just around here. Now what we can also do, G, Y, just put it in the middle. Let's see if this is still correct. No, rotate X. Now it is. That's perfectly placed, I guess. So now we're going to fill up this gap around here. So Shift A, add in a cube and scale it, move it up, scale it on the Z axis, G, Y, just move it out, something like this. Apply rotation and scale, go into edit mode and move this to the back. Move this back as well. Just eyeballing it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Then we have to make sure these have some room to get in there. Scale X. Then go into local mode with slash. Scale the back wall with X. Or with S, sorry. And maybe move this one up, and maybe this one down. Yeah, I think so. And what I want to do is add in a bevel. So Q bevel, just a tiny bit, not too much. But now it doesn't follow the curvature of this thing, so I'm going into edit mode, select these two, Control B, just add in some loops. Yeah, this is about right, I think. Now this piece looks a bit boring, so we're going to add some detail to it, and I'm going to use a box cutter for it. So switch box cutter on using Alt W, and what we're now going to do is make some slices in there. And now it's set to cut, but if you press the D key, you can switch here all the options to slice, intersect, inset, join, etc, etc, and change the shape you want to cut out. You can also do it from here, or you can just start slicing and press X to change it to a slice. You can see in the bottom all the options you have, so you can play around with it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold Shift and click, so I'm going to keep it alive, the boolean. What I now want to do is go into edit mode and add some loops in here. Just going to add maybe 4, and I'm going to select this face, and I'm going to move it up. As you can see now, I'm going to make a nice little detail to the shape, makes it look just a little bit more interesting. So what I did, I used a slice. So now these, I'm going to move this away, these are two separate objects, and what I want to do is I want to add some detail to this as well, some vents or so. So just start cutting again and move this in. So now I want to array this down, so I can press Q, array. Now it's on the x-axis, press X again, and I'm going to move it down. Scroll to add some extra, just like this. Yeah, this is what I want. I'm also going to rotate it on the x-axis just a little bit, move it down, and as you can see, there's a lot of pinching going on, a lot of problems. And why is that? So there are a couple of ways why that is. And the first thing is because over here we have this bevel. if we switch on wireframe, you can see all the bevels are overshooting. So let's first make this one just a little bit smaller. But there's also other problems, because when the boolean was applied, you can see over here it made really weird connections. So there's a couple of ways you can fix that, and one of the ways is a really easy one. So if we add in a plane, rotate it on the x-axis, move it in front so I can see what I'm doing, scale it on the z-axis, maybe turn on wireframe so I know where I am, move it up, scale it, and I'm gonna scale it so it's right in the middle of the shapes. Scale on the X, something like this. And what I'm now going to do is adding some loops just around here, just in the middle. And now if I tap out of edit mode, first X and delete only faces, select this object, then this one, go into edit mode, and let's see where it is, knife project. What it now did, it projected the shape I have selected on the other mesh. So if we switch off wireframe now and move these out of the way, move this as well, you can see it fixed the issues really good, because now it made connections based on the projection I made. So this is really cool. And probably we can go into edit mode and remove these, because I don't think we're gonna need them. We'll see if I'm right. X, dissolve, edges. I don't think it makes any difference. As you can see, we fixed it. So that's pretty nice. We can now also look how far we can go. Not very far before we start getting issues again. What we can also do is check hard and normals on the bevel, or we can also use hard ops, alt sharpen, to add in a weighted normal. So that also made it look a lot better. So that's the first detail we'll add. Let's add some more detail to the top. So I'm just gonna randomly slice, maybe rotate it on the x-axis, just a little bit, move it up, and add some loops in there. And I'm just gonna select this face and move it up. Yeah. As you can see, we have some pinching here. We can easily solve it by just moving it down. Just the amount of time you would like to spend on fixing these minor details, because we're gonna see it from further off, so it doesn't really matter how to fix it in here. So I'll just gonna leave this at this. So maybe just a small detail here. I like these small details which make it look like it's actually doing something. So I'm satisfied with this part. So up to the next thing. Now let's start with the foot. So let's get into front view and add in a cylinder. And I'm going to use 64 verts, and I'm going to rotate it on the y-axis 90 degrees. And scale it and move it into position around here. Let's see, G, Y. Yeah, doesn't have to be perfect because we're gonna see it from far off, so no worries. Now I think it's a bit too big, so scale it, Shift X, something like this. Yeah, I think so. Apply rotation and scale, and let's sharpen it, and I'm gonna select these ones, the sides. Oh, no, not the sides, just add in a bevel. I'm gonna use one segment, something like this, and I'm gonna add another bevel, pressing Ctrl, so we have some rounded edges. So this is going to be the part where yeah, the foot is going to rotate around on this beam. And once we start creating the landing, we can add some noise modifiers on there so we can rotate it and make it tremble a little bit. Now go to front view and add Shift S, cursor to selector, Shift A, add in a cube. Just scale it down, something like this, maybe just a tiny bit. And what I want to do is extrude this on the y-axis. And what I want to do with this is GZ, something like this. And same for this. I'm gonna extrude it and move this down. Maybe extrude. No. This. And I'm just going to select this one, scale it on the x-axis just a tiny bit, and maybe do it the same with this one. And select these edges, and I'm gonna bevel them. Yes. Now sharpen it so it looks a bit better, and we can add in just a small bevel. So this is the basic shape I'm gonna work from. So let's first add some detail in there. So I want to have some grip when we land. So I'm going to add in this one, and I'm going to array it a couple of times. As you can see, we start having some shading issues, and you can fix them when we apply it, or what we can also do is just look over here where we place them. And that's a lot of the times, and especially when we're looking at it from really far away, the easiest way. So scale doesn't work because I'm not on medium point, so try it again, scale Y, something like this. And maybe I can bevel it as well. Don't need that much segments. Something like this. Yeah, that's okay. Maybe we can also add in a weighted normal. Doesn't really work. We can do the mod scroll to see if we move it just a tiny bit to the other side, if we fix minor details, but doesn't really matter. What we can do is slice this so we're isolating it to the bottom part. That's not too bad, because this is the sole, or how do you say it in English, the bottom part, so not big of a deal. Now let's also slice some part away from here, something like this. Yes, and I'm also going to Alt exit to the other side, so I only have to worry on one side. Now I want to have a part where I can send some cables to, so I'm gonna slide. I keep forgetting, I have to change it back to box. Just gonna remove a tiny part around here. Yes, and what I can also do is remove some parts from here, and that can be also some grip parts. Let's see, creates really strong shading issues. That's because we're right in the bevel here, so let's see if we can. I don't know if it's worth adding it right now. I'll see later on. Now we can start making some holes where the cables come from. Let's cut them around here and GX over here, and maybe add an array. I think this is okay. And maybe do the same around here. Then slice some part from box, slice some part from here. We can make it a little bit deeper so we can see just a little part of the cylinder. And what we can also do is just select this part, press X, so we have some slices. That always makes nice details if you have a bevel in there. So we can also do it around here. I always like it. And we X. And what you can also do is add some extra detail by just selecting these, for instance, and making some nice bevels in there. And you should look for the ideal position with the shading issues, or you can fix the shading issues once you apply them or with the dice tool. But it's for this object it's not really important because, yeah, as I told you already, we're gonna see it from far off, so who cares. This is a bit too enthusiastic, I think. Q, shift pull. Let's move it just a tiny bit. Scale it on the y-axis. And maybe GY. I don't know what you think, but I don't think it looks like a foot anymore, but Is it really a problem? What do you guys think? Once we have some cables hanging around, it could be something. I don't know. Let's keep slicing some things out. Oh yeah, I'm on the wrong side. It's kind of late, so I'm a bit tired, and I can notice from how I'm working in Blender. Something like this, and we can also do it around here. GZ. Let's prevent the shading issues to occur. Now let's also do something around here. Let's array it. And as you can see over here, you can change the values where you're sliding it really easy. Yeah. I'm pretty satisfied now. From far off, it looks like a foot, and we can also add some cables in there, and then yeah. I was planning to also do the material and decal part in this video, but this video is already getting quite long, so it's getting pretty late as well around here. Getting tired. That's what you get when you have a newborn. So I would like to do the material and decal part in the next video, and so I can also start using Decal Machine 2.0, which was just released. I just have to convert my old decals to the new version. So hope you enjoyed this video anyway, so thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye.